Hi everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. So last week I did this project here. We have the mini album inside using the paper bag dies and then the suitcase die to complete it. So I did say in that video that I would be doing another video to show you how to reinforce this suitcase and make it a lot stronger and sturdier. So we're going to be doing that today, and I'm using 1mm thick chipboard. I'll just quickly show you on the side here. So this is 1mm thick, so if you have thicker chipboard you will have to adjust some of the lengths on this so that it will fit together. So this is based on 1mm thick stuff. Okay, so this is the album that we made last week, and we're going to be lining the center of the inside of this suitcase. So let me just pop that aside, and then there is also a cutting guide as well that will be on my website. That'll be helengriffin.co.uk, and the link in the description box will take you directly to that project page for what we're doing today. So all of my projects all have their own pages, and they're pretty much easy to find. Okay, so we're sticking with the same paper collection. That is Farm Meadow. Here it is, beautiful papers. So we're sticking with the same papers there for the inside of the suitcase, and I've trimmed everything down that I'm going to be needing today. So I'm not going to read out any of these measurements because there's so many, and it goes into the 1/16 of an inch. So the 1/16 of an inch will be those little notches in between the 1/8 of an inch mark, so that the 1/16 is the half of what the 1/8 is. And I've got my little pile here. This is going to be for the bottom of the box, and the top here, this is going to be for the top. Okay, so let's start off with this one here. So these are going to be the side pieces, and we're going to put the front and the back in first, and then we're going to put the side pieces, and the cutting guide will be very self-explanatory on the pieces as well. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly add some tape here. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz scissors for this. And what I've done is I've glued my strip of chipboard onto there. Then I've trimmed up the side just to make it straight. Or you can measure it exactly and then glue this in the center. But we need to make sure there's a large enough lip either side here, so when it's wrapped it pretty much covers most of it, or at least it will cover the part where it's going to be exposed. Okay, so let's grab a bone folder. I'm just going to press that down, and before I do that I'm just going to fold this over just like so as well, just to help it. There we go. Right, now let's take these off and press that down, bone folder again, and give that a really good press, and then do the same on the other side. There we go. So we do have some exposed ends there, so if that does bother you, you can just ink them. If we were to cover them up and wrap it exactly, that would make this piece slightly bigger, so you would have to make an adjustments if you wanted to do a complete wrap. So I just wanted to explain that, but as we're leaving these edges here exposed, then it doesn't mess around with our measurements at all. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces for the sides, and now I'm just going to quickly put together. I'm going to be using this side of the paper. So I'm just going to use this. This is going to be for this side and the inside there. So I'm on my emergency glue now. I have ordered some more. So this is Cardstock. This is my emergency stuff. I'm just going to add that all the way around. If you want to, you can use extra large wide double-sided tape. That would work perfectly as well. Okay, I'm going to have to make a little bit of room now. I need to get my paper trimmer out. Okay, so another thing that I was very mindful of was the direction of this. So it's going to be horizontal. Sorry, yeah, landscape, not horizontal. but thinking about it, horizontal and landscape are the same thing. So definitely not vertical or portrait. Okay, so we have this now. So I'm just going to make sure that this is glued down really well. There we go. And then what I'm going to do, you've seen me do this numerous times now. This is just like wrapping a mini album cover. So let's go quickly around here. Will I run out of red tape? That's the question. Let's see how this goes. I think I might just make it. Oh no, look, I haven't. I've literally got that. Oh, maybe I could use that. Okay, let's try and use that. Let's take the very last little bit off. There we go. It did work. There we go. I literally have that much left, like 6 inches left. Okay, right, press all these down now. Pressing down super important with double-sided tape. Okay, and now I'm going to do is bend those over and fold. Okay, and I'm going to grab my big scissors now, and then I'm going to cut the corner off, but I'm not going to go straight up to the corner. I'm hoping you'll be able to see that there's a slight gap there. It's just so that I don't have an exposed edge when we wrap the corner around. Okay, we can get rid of these. Okay, we're almost there with this one. So I always tend to start at the top here. And I'm just going to fold that over. It doesn't have to be as perfect as when you're wrapping an album, because this is all going to be tucked underneath and hidden. Okay, so here I'm just going to fold in and press down those little flaps here. I've just flattened those areas there, just so that when we fold that over, we get a nice neat corner and no exposed edges. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. Flatten those areas and then fold that over. Okay, so now I have my second piece here. Okay, so now we're ready to start assembling everything into the suitcase. So I'm just going to put something in here to weight it down. I'm hoping that's going to be heavy enough. Maybe the scissors might do better. Yeah, I think the scissors will be better. And we're going to put this section in last. So let's put this in the order of what we're going to be doing this in. Right, so you'll have an exposed edge here on some of them. Some of them may be covered completely, and some of them may not be, depending on your cutting. Just as long as the back, one of the back edges here is enough to cover the exposed edge, because the nice side is going to be on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is grab my glue. This is good strong stuff, by the way. Whoop. It does like to leak out though. Okay, so let's press that in. There we go. And then what we're going to do is just do the back piece here. Hoping you'll be able to see that. Oops. It doesn't take as fast as the Cosmic Shimmer. Okay, so I've added glue all the way along that one. On this one I left the top half clear because that's exposed, so we don't want any glue on that area. Okay, so this is the inside, where the hinge is. So give that a good pressing. Okay, so now we can move on to our side pieces, and what I'm going to do, I made a little mistake there and I trimmed that, so that's going to be on the bottom. Let's hide our mistakes. So add some more glue just along here, and because this does take a little while to take, I'm just going to repress everything again just to make sure it's all okay, because as it dries it gets a little bit tacky, and that means it's going to stick a little better. Okay, so there is a bit of a height difference here, and that's what we're aiming for. Okay, and now we're going to add the last one in. Can get away with that way round. It's going to be quite a tight fit. So make sure everything is pushed down and everything is level. Okay, so that is the bottom of the box done. Lovely and sturdy. So let's pop in the last piece. We don't need too much glue because I've wrapped this, it's going to be a bit of a tight fit, but it's going to fit in there perfectly. So make sure you have your pattern the right way round, and then I'm just going to push that in. Just go around the edges just like so. That should help to keep all these in place while they dry as well. See, it's coming away there, so just keep pressing it down till it goes. There we go. Now that is feeling like a very nice sturdy box now. Just need to wait for that to dry. If you want, you can use a glue gun if you're a little impatient. Okay, so that's the bottom. Let's work on the top now. So we're going to do exactly the same. Got my two side pieces there, and then these are almost the same, but the skinnier one, this one's slightly wider, the thinner one is what is going to fit just inside the box there, if you can see that. I'm just trying to see on the viewfinder. There we go, it should look like that. Okay, so let's get that glued in. Remember, we're having the nice side exposed on the outside. Might have to go and grab some pegs just to keep this in place. It's been so long since I've used this collar. I think I've just got so used to the Cosmic Shimmer drying so fast. Okay, right, so this is the next piece now, so we're going to pop that inside there. And again, it is normal to have that height difference along here. We want that gap there because it's going to fit snugly into this part here when we close it. And remember, I'm basing this on 1mm thick cardstock as well. And before you actually cover all of your chipboard, do a test run. A dry test run without everything being covered, just to make sure that everything fits, and then you can make any adjustments that you need to if you need to as well. So just do a dry test run. There we go. And before I put the bottom in, I'm going to close this up now, just see how well it's done. I haven't tested it with all of the I have tested it with the dry run, but I haven't tested it with everything covered, so need to make sure these are tucked in as we close it, just like so. And there we go. so you will have this exposed around the outside. There we go. So I may just amend my measurements here when I do the cutting guide for you. I will probably take a 1/16 of an inch off both of those measurements. It is a bit larger now because I have wrapped around these edges here, so I think that is what has happened. So I will make sure that my new measurements on my website will be a 1/16 of an inch on this panel here and this panel here, so we don't have to worry about that. Because it's nice pretty paper, I think it does look pretty nice. Okay, so here we have our last piece. I'm going to pop that inside there now. And there we have our finished box. It's super sturdy now. It's really nice and sturdy. So let's get this closed up. There we have our suitcase. So let's pop the mini album inside again. That should fit in there nice. So it's upside down. Let's pop that in there like that. There we go. And there we are. Everything is super sturdy. It doesn't close in on itself, and it's lovely and reinforced, and I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. And this does not bother me all that much either, so if that does bother you, it shouldn't happen to you anyway, because I will adjust the measurements, but for me, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that is how you reinforce the suitcase die. And yeah, I think I can call this project now complete. So thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to visit the cutting guide. The link for that will be down below, and I'll see you again next time.